Hello, Sagittarius friends. This is Dr. Shiny. I have a tarot reading for you, general reading for the month of March, again for Sagittarius. And if you haven't already done so, please check out my, introductory videos on how I approach the tarot readings and what you can expect to get out of this and that kind of thing. I'm going to get right into your reading. Today, for your current situation, we have the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups represents sort of this ideal relationship that is centered in trust as well as love or being in love, you know what I mean? So there's sort of like, it's outgrown this very immature puppy love type of infatuation thing, and it's in a more trusting and caring and equitable form. So that's what you're in for your current situation, so that's good. It's not always necessarily a person. This can also represent like your conscious and subconscious mind, or your relationship with a job or activity or something like that. But there generally is a little bit more of a relationship type energy associated with it. But what's influencing you or crossing you is the world, which indicates completion of cycles, a generally very positive connotation in completion of cycles, as opposed to sort of like the more negative ways of looking at like bad cycles, end of bad cycles, like the Ten of Swords, that kind of thing. This is more about awakening, enlightenment, that type of thing. Full God realization, understanding the will of God a little bit better as a result of a situation that you've come through. What I see in your past is the Three of Wands. So the Three of Wands comes just so the Ace of Wands is sort of like a brand new opportunity, a go for it energy. Let's figure something out. Let's just put that will into action. The Two of Wands is like when you're in the planning stages and planning has sort of begun to materialize. Three of Wands, which is in your recent past, is like really putting those plans into action. It's starting a project, physically starting building instead of just like the planning and stuff like that. So something is sort of in motion, and it could be a very long process, so it could still be at the beginning of the stages, because I'm seeing in your crowning thoughts, in your higher thoughts, is the Three of Coins, which in the original artwork was like three people standing over the blueprints for a new cathedral that they're building. And so there's some sort of management going on at this point. It's not merely just like creative, it's not merely in the mind. There is some interaction going on with putting your plans into implementation and that sort of thing. Your foundation for the situation is the Three of Swords. This one confused me just a little bit. So it's almost as if everything that started the situation that you're in now, which is leading you to a happy relationship with yourself or something, and this new realization, this new enlightenment and completion, achievement, the foundation of it, what started it all, may have been some sort of sense of heartbreak. And the lesson that you're learning is that with everything good comes this sense of leaving something else behind. You know what I mean? So if you're a poor person, for example, and you have some poor friends, you can get a lot of comfort out of enjoying each other's company and understanding each other like that. So if, let's say, you win the lottery, all of a sudden those poor friends that were really good, dear friends to you might turn their backs on you a little bit out of resentment, or just feeling as though, it's unfair, and that's just a random example. That's the energy associated with this, that there is always a sense of melancholy or heartbreak associated with getting things that you want, and just be prepared for it to creep up on you a little bit, and realize that it's just life. It's the bittersweet, you know what I mean? It's what gives life its flavor. Your advice for the current situation is a Five of Wands. A little bit of an odd card to be in the advice spot. It generally denotes a sort of creative conflict. Now, the creative conflict is, it's important to recognize that it's not something that the people involved in are engaged in because they want to destroy each other or like knock each other down. That's not it at all. This is sort of like the best way to progress in a project or something like that, where both parties want it to succeed, both people have a vested interest, and this they're arguing a little bit because something in them likes to, because it's something in them knows that it's like a constructive, healthy conflict. Think more about like chess or something like that, or perhaps like business negotiations and that thing. Both people in a business transaction usually want the other person to succeed, unless the businesses are like directly competing against each other. But I don't get that vibe whatsoever from this. So it feels like it's asking you to embrace and keep in perspective that this conflict can be utilized to like a great degree, that some of these people that you're going to deal with really thrive on this sort of conflict. So give it to them. It's don't feel bad about asking for a little more than you really should get, because some people love to haggle. Like you got to start higher, because some people are going to try to bring down the price anyway. So that's the advice for this current situation, is just sort of like engage in that old-fashioned struggle. It's not a bad thing. The environment that you're in is marked with the Eight of Wands, and so eights are very much involved with structure. Wands are very much involved with willpower and sort of raw creative energy. So this is about channeling your raw creative energy into physical manifestation in the environment. So this is a lot of work, a lot of mental fortitude, and everything is now being channeled into one central project or direction. It also suggests that your current environment is very busy, bustling. There's a lot going on around you. Feels like things are moving kind of fast now, at least in comparison to how they have been. And your fears card for the current situation is the Page of Coins. So now I would like for somebody to leave some comments and clarify if this clicks for you in a specific way. This card is normally like a dreamer. This is a person who sort of has their eyes on a specific vision for the future, a vision in the materialistic world. So this is like a specific goal, a bucket list item or something like that, a dreamer. And it's not so much like an abstract, like I wish there was world peace or that type of thing. This is somebody who's going after like specific visions, but they're a little immature and have lack some of the experience and fortitude necessary to achieve those visions. So this is in your fears card. So the best that I can think of is that it's essentially you're afraid to dream a little too much. You're afraid to be impractical, and your mind's very much on practicality and on being, a good steward, a good manager of whatever the situation is. So being that that's in your fears card, I would say embrace the dreaming a little bit, and not just for other people, but keep in mind that you need some dreams too. You know what I mean? Keep in mind that it's healthy to dream as long as it's in moderation. Like everything should be in moderation, including moderation. So and I've already said that in one of my other readings too. But don't be afraid to take some of that mental energy that you spend so diligently on pouring it on into good work and stuff like that, and take some of it for yourself. Take some of it to think of some good things for the future, because you're such a diligent and hardworking, good-hearted person that I think if you opened up your will to pouring into like a better future, you'd find that the universe would often answer your request with a yes. Because you have put a great amount of work into aligning your will with the higher power, with the with the divine plan, and it will appreciate that you have sort of suspended your own personal will. If you just, and it's not demanding. It's not demanding. It's just every now and then in your prayers, remember to ask for something for yourself. um, and I think you'll be surprised how often the answer is yes, because it feels like you have been putting others before yourself for a very long time. So anyway, your overall message today is, and this is a little bit of a shorter one than than I'm used to. It went pretty fluidly and quick. But your overall message today is the Judgment card, which is just saying that essentially this is the end of a karmic cycle, just like the world. What's influencing you? It's the end of a karmic cycle. Your debts have been paid to a certain degree, and you are moving on to the new. The old's burning away, and you have a sense of contentment with that. It's not like this is a painful process. Nothing about this seems to be an incredibly painful process, like I said, with perhaps the exception of the foundation, which is things that are deep in your subconscious. That's not out in the open very much at all. And it looks like I said, just like the bittersweet of life that's getting to you a little. But other than that, everything here seems to be very positive, very uplifting, even though there's some shifts and some perhaps violent shifts into new ways of life, new ways of thinking, and things like that. This is a positive process, and the end result of this will be bliss. It will be, I think I may have forgotten to do your future card, which is the Ace of Coins. I may have forgotten to do that. But just recapping over that, it's sort of this feeling of the universe conspiring in your favor, wealth, but more than just like having a lot of money. This is an understanding and appreciation of the physical, you've perhaps gone through a really difficult journey to get to where you're going, and so as the result of that, you'll have a big understanding and appreciation for what you have, and that'll give you a lot of knowledge that you can then pass on to other people, and become an instrument in other people's lives in success and happiness, which is a big thing. So yeah, I don't remember if I actually gave you that future card before, but there it is. And so the overall message is sort of very much the same idea, that the old is being burned away now. You've put up with it for a very, very long time, and you're moving into some new things, and you're moving into a place where your diligence is going to be rewarded with a degree of freedom from the higher power, to not just feel like you have to walk this tightrope quite so long. You've been walking the tightrope for a very long time. So the reward for that is that you are trusted to put his will and his vision into the world a little bit. And you'll know that you have that trust because things will come easy. You won't feel like you're running on a treadmill quite as much as you used to. There will be a sense of mobility, a sense that you have the divine will behind you, and so that's how you know you've been doing the right thing and that you're being rewarded, is feeling like the doors are opening. So follow that feeling and learn to trust it. Let yourself escape from the guilt of your past and the things that you've done, because those can hold you back, even if you don't think about them a lot. If you're not actively dealing with them and bringing them to the surface, they can still be affecting you even outside of your perception. So, but overall, very, very good, interesting reading. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments. I love comments. It's my favorite thing about reading, so please leave them. And I will see you guys next month.